time for a lecture called Real Estate and Tourism, How to Make a Good Profit from Your Property in Italy. I'll again ask to volume down for the music. Thank you. For this lecture, we have the right expert here, a man born and raised in Florence, Italy, but professionally trained in Prague. So, let me welcome Matteo Scardicci from a company called Klíč ke snu, a key to your dream.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So I prepared my presentation in English. Okay, thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. So I prepared my presentation in English, but I also speak Czech. So just quickly introduction. I'm an Italian lawyer. I'm based in Florence, but I lived 20 years in Prague, so I speak Czech. So we can easily speak Czech if you prefer. You can give me a question. What I offer is basically real estate services, meaning I'm not broker or developer. I can just assist you with your searching of properties in Italy, the one you prefer, the place you prefer, according to your expectations. And mainly, I assist you with legal services, so in the acquisition process, contracts, notary, technical issues, whatever. Further, we have a team of people who help you with reconstruction of property if you prefer to buy something to reconstruct according to your expectation, your taste. We can help you with this, and management. So I can find you agency who will be in charge, will take care of rentals. I spoke about rentals just because I think at the moment currently is probably the best investment you can expect from Italy in the investment in the tourist sectors. So that was just a quick introduction about who I am. Takže těší mě, moje jméno je Matteo Scardicci, klidně můžeme se bavit česky, se snažím. 20 let jsem žil v Praze, tak myslím, že dokážu se dost jednoduše se vymluvit. Dobře. Proč Itálii? Itálie zaprvé je stále Evropská unie. Za hodinu a půl let jste v Itálii, do Pízy, v Toskánsko například. Já pocházím z Toskánska. To jsme se, už mluvím česky. Tak back to English. So we have currently the prices of properties are significantly lower than it was 10 years ago, especially in certain areas. There is still growth for tourist property market, and we have a lot of state financial bonuses for property reconstructions. And inflation rate in Italy, it was last year almost 5% less than in the Czech Republic. So if you invest in Italy in euro, you already save 5% a year just by inflation. Zero tax on gains after 5 years. So you can buy a property after 5 years, you sell it back, you don't have any tax on this gain. I apologize to state in Czech, but just a comparison with prices of properties 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 2012, especially you can see yourself, in Sicily, 30% less than 12 years ago. Don't worry, it's not that bad as it looks. This is due to some specific reason, and especially in Tuscany, it's connected with some bankruptcy of a bank in the Siena region. So prices are already growing the last 2 or 3 years especially after COVID. This regards all the property, all the market, the trend of the market with properties all over Italy. But if we look to properties meant for tourist use, so properties you can rent about, the trend is still totally different. And that's the reason why we record a significant increase of transactions, plus 24% compared to the 2021. And investment in accommodation capacity, meaning hotels and this kind of thing, while on a worldwide basis, they decreased in 1.5. In Italy, we registered an increase of 40%, meaning that there are a lot of investment in the tourist sector. The reason is that profitability of tourist rentals reached in year 2023 9%, which is probably, compared to the countries you heard about before, much lower, but considering it's still European Union, Italy, this is quite good, to be honest. I think 9% is gross interest, gross profit is still very interesting. The business case, that's more or less what I would like to talk to you about, to give you just a model of investment in the tourist sector. I mean, one luxury house in Tuscany for 14 people, give you rent of about 12 or 14,000 euro per week in a high season. It might cost you between 1.5 million and 2 million. So if you think you can rent it for maybe 20 weeks per year, I mean, the profit, the revenue, the profit is quite interesting. Of course, these properties to reach such a high rent, of course, you must offer high standard furniture, swimming pool, high-end furniture. Every room must have his own toilet. So I mean, the standard of the premises you rent must be very high, but then the rents are very, very interesting. I'm talking about independent houses in the countryside. You rent it for 1 week, so not divided into apartments, but as a whole you rent it. And especially for American tourists, it's very interesting. They love it, and they come and can really pay you whatever, no problem. Exactly. Just put shortly about the different region in Italy. Tuscany is the first region, attracting 14% of the demand of luxury tourist real estate market. Second is Apulia, which is here, down, and Lombardy, which is up there. Lakes, I'm sure you know about big lakes on the north of Lombardy. And on the third is Campania, so Naples and Sicily, with 9% just. And only in Florence in the last 3 years, the investment on a hotel, a luxury hotel, so still tourism, meaning like real estate meant for tourism, so hotel reached to 500 million euros only in Florence. So now I would come more to legal aspects, maybe a bit more boring, but I want to give you a concrete, very practical guidance how to invest. How to use this model I want to present to you. First of all, you have to reach such a high weekly rent, you must, as I said, you must offer a very high standard buildings. You can rent it on a short-term basis without any legal constraint. You can send the rent, so you can rent it for 1 day to 30 days. The 30 days is the maximum length you can use for touristic rentals. So once you exceed this 30 days time, you must register the contract. So if you rent a house for 1 week, there is no need of registration anywhere, and so you can set the rent free without under free negotiations, so there is no limit, and you don't need to establish any company, any business, no need for accountancy and so on. And you also have access to simplified tax regime, which we'll see later. So as I said, the house must be meant for residential purposes, so no hotel or many different kind of houses, and this must be in the cadastre. There is a specific classification of real estate, and the house must be for residential uses, for the residential purposes. Maximum length of the contract 30 days, and the contract must be concluded between two private entities not engaged in any business activity. You can provide only certain kind of services, which we will look at, and the properties must, as I said, fall into cadastral categories A1 to A11. Okay, this is very detailed information, sorry, but I think I want to give you really practical information how to invest your money. You can permitted services to stay between like rent and not become, let's say, a company, a business providing services, provision of bed linen, change of bed linen, and cleaning of the premises. So all these you can provide, you can rent the house and include this kind of services, but only at the end of the stay. You cannot provide any daily changing of the linen and cleaning, otherwise is already like a tourist business. You're providing the an accommodation business, is not more like a rent. Of course, you cannot provide breakfast or other kind of services, but you can help, but you can give people contacts to someone providing those services. You can rent a house under this model, maximum 4 units, meaning you can have 4 houses or 4 apartments, and still you can rent it as a private entity and not without becoming a business, without need to establish any business and have accountancy and so on. This is the maximum of the under law. In this case, you have access to as you rent it as a private person, as a private entity. You have access to simplified taxation, is a sort of flat tax applying to rental, which is 21% of the gross rental, and becoming 26 if you rent more than 1 unit. If you have more than 1 house, more than 1 flat, you will pay 26%. Income tax. I'm talking about income tax on the rentals, yeah, on the gross rentals. The pages, okay. Of course, if you choose this kind of model, so if you choose the flat tax, let's say, regime called cedolare secca, you cannot deduct any expenses. It's a paušální daň. How to purchase a property in Italy? Just very quickly, foreigner can acquire. This is, I think, you all know already. I think, but if you have any doubt, as a foreigner, if you are a citizen of a European Union, you can buy a property in Italy without any constraint, any limit. Usually, real estate agents will ask you to sign a proposta irrevocabile, which is irrevocable proposal, what in Czech is called usually rezervační smlouva, but in fact it is a contract, and so do not sign anything like that before asking your lawyer. Real estate compliance check, especially if you buy some old property in a rural area, which undergone several reconstructions in the past, I definitely recommend you to hire a technique to give a very thorough check of the compliance of the real estate, meaning that the real estate of the that you have you don't have many like more more spaces than it's supposed to be. I mean, so the technique will go there and will find out whether any inconsistency exists between what is on the paper and what is the real state of your house. So legal and technical due diligence is definitely recommended, I mean, especially for all property in rural area. This is because tourism is so, I mean, it has been so long that tourists are coming to Italy that many people decided to refurbish their houses for tourists. And so they provided many changes, and not every time these have been according to law. You know. Okay, then you need to, of course, to obtain an Italian fiscal code. It's a very simple thing, nothing special. Power of attorney, of course, if you're not coming to the notary to sign the contract. Sometimes we signed a preliminary contract, what is in Czech is smlouvy budoucí, and this preliminary contract can be registered in the real estate register, which is not cadastral. Forget about cadastre. Czech cadastre has totally different meaning than in Italy. So the real estate of property is not under the cadastre, but under the real estate register, which is held by the municipality. If you register the contract, preliminary contract in the real estate register, the purchaser acquired the right of priority over any other purchaser who would eventually sign another contract. And then the final contract is always signed at the notary, because it's the notary in Italy who provide the transcriptions of the properties. So basically, once you are at the notary and you sign the contract, you can be safe. You can feel okay. Sometimes it can happen that because notary usually provide this check of the property, then not major inconsistency exists even from the technical point of view. Also, they look whether any mortgage is on the property, and so they provide the usual legal check, but they are only obliged. They only check the state of the property, of the house, of the flat, or whatever. They check anything which prevents the transferability of the property, meaning that sometimes there might be still some inconsistency, especially from technical point of view, that do not prevent the property to be purchased, but which will prevent you from reconstructing it. Because once you want to reconstruct it, you have to file a project at the municipality, and if any inconsistencies is detected, they will not provide you with the permission, like stavební povolení. Okay, then taxes. Generally, the tax which applies on the purchase is 9% of the price. This is general criteria, but this is quite complicated in Italy, because you can, in certain cases, you can apply a different value, which is prezzo valore, different criteria, which is based on the official value that the specific property has under the cadastre. So the cadastre registry exists in Italy, but doesn't have legal meaning, but is relevant because of taxation. Any property in Italy under the cadastre has its own value. So when you buy a property, you please first check what is the value under the cadastre. The value is, okay, I will finish, is meaning, okay, sorry, just quickly. rendita catastale. Just wanted to mention this. Check, please, what is the rendita catastale, because under this value you will pay your taxes. So if you apply this different value, the taxes can be lower of 30-40%, but it must be just private entity who buys the flat. If you buy as a first unit, so if you buy your first house in Italy, or first flat, or whatever, you can even pay even lower price, like 2% of the price, but only if you decide to move your residence there. Income tax, as I said, 21 or 26% on the income, and tax on property just count about 0.2 up to 0.5 per year. That's it. These are something you can have it.
Yeah, and actually there are questions considering some tips. When I see the price of apartments, how many % do you recommend to add taxes, hidden costs, lawyers, and so on?
Well, overall, you must count notary and taxes. Notary and taxes, you just count 1% for the notary, maybe between 0.5 and 1% for the notary. Taxes, what I mentioned, maybe 1% for the lawyer, 2 or 3% is the usual provision for the broker. That's it, I would say.
Okay. Best location to buy the investment apartments, whole Italy and then from the south of Italy?
Apartments, definitely historical cities. I would recommend, so Rome, Venice, Florence, Naples. You have 12 months rental because the tourism is all over year long. Yeah, it's all over the year. And sorry,
in southern Italy and south of Italy.
Southern Italy, to be honest, I'm not that confident with southern Italy. Definitely the most requested locations are the most touristic. So
How
Sicily.
about Sicily? Yeah.
Sicily definitely is very requested. Prices are very low. In the south, you must be even more careful with the legal due diligence because inconsistencies can be really significant.
Okay, so more you will get to know from Matteo Scardicci at the stand of Klíč. Kesnu. It may be even in Czech because he speaks Czech very well. So thank you.
Welcome. Děkuju. Děkuju moc. Takže stan 36.
Yes, thank you.